This is a tutorial on how to get started with AppTestStudio. AppTestStudio is an automated testing tool primarily designed for Android emulators, but also works for web browsers and applications that run on your computer. To install AppTestStudio, go to AppTestStudio.com and click on the download information. There are two ways to install it. You can use the installer or the source code. Both of these go to the same project. I'm going to go to the releases to show you that. To install it, you can click on the installer right there. And in this case, I'm running mine from source code. I'm going to go back to the website. After you install AppTestStudio, we're going to be automating it with an Android emulator. You'll need to download one. I am going to be using the NoxPlayer emulator. Go ahead and download that and install it. And the application we're going to run on the emulator is going to be the AppTestStudio Trainer application. The trainer comes in Android, web, and Windows, and in this case I'm going to be using the Android one. Go ahead and download that. I have it already downloaded. I'm going to run AppTestStudio, and it's going to come up. First thing we need to do is run our emulator. And we're going to run the emulator so that we can install the trainer package. We're going to sideload it because it is not installed on the App Store. After the emulator comes up, go ahead and click on the gear and go to display and make sure that fixed window size is checked. After that, to get to the Play Store, you click on Tools. You slide over, and the Play Store is right there. I would recommend you copy it to the workspace. You can also use this, but it doesn't have as many applications on it. To sideload the AppTestStudio Trainer application, I'm going to go onto the emulator and click on this plus APK icon. Click on that, and I'm going to give it the path to the AppTestStudio Trainer. Once that's installed, and you can see that the window name is NoxPlayer up here, that's not what we need. We need it to be launched from AppTestStudio to automate with. So go ahead and close the NoxPlayer. We have AppTestStudio installed, the Android emulator installed, and the AppTestStudio Trainer side-loaded. Let's start a new project. I'm going to go to File and New, and a little wizard comes up. I'm going to hit Next, and the platform. I have a choice of platforms. I'm going to use NoxPlayer. This one's been the one that's been most tested of all of them. Each one gives you some indications about differences between the two, and there's little bits of differences. I'm going to be using NoxPlayer for this demo, and I recommend that you also pick it so that you can follow along. We'll cover the other platforms like web and application in a separate video. I'm going to hit Next. This comes to a little quick picker application. It searches the Google Play Store and lets you kind of automatically find the AppID. I'm going to type in Chrome as an example and hit search, and it's going to kind of show the website, the Google Play website, and what it found. And so it found an app called, I'm going to click on the Google Chrome, and when you go to a page inside of here, it will grab the AppID and kind of give it a name. The alternative to do that is, the other way of finding it is to click on the application and grab the AppID up here on the request line. Chrome, if you wanted to pick another application, let's see, I suppose this one would work. When you go to the page, it'll grab the AppID. These have to be installed on the emulator, and this is just a tool to automatically pick some things for you. I'm going to hit Next and change both of these. We're not going to be using the ones that we found. Let's go ahead and call this project AppTestStudio Trainer Android 1. And the AppID, to get the AppID, you need to go to AppTestStudio's website and grab it right here. This com.appteststudio.appteststudiotrainer1. put that in there. The AppID is used with the launch automation in AppTestStudio. You can change this, and if you change the package name, when you use the launch, either launch button, it will automatically run that application on the Android emulator. I'm going to go over what the 4 buttons are up here. There's run, start, launch, there's start and launch, and there's start. Start runs the emulator. It specifically runs the emulator on the instance that you have in the design at the time. And right now I have design instance 1, so it's going to run instance 1 of the emulator. Because I have my package name in here, if I hit start and launch, it will start the emulator and run the package if it's installed. And we already installed it, so we're ready to go. Run, start, and launch will run the script. And we haven't built a script yet, but we will very shortly. And then run runs the script. We'll be doing that many times during this demo. One of the most important things on this screen currently is the general loop delay in milliseconds, and it's set to 1000 by default. You can customize that. Every time it goes through an iteration, it waits one second. That gives the application time to refresh or change screens or whatever it does after you click actions. AppTestStudio is built around events and actions. An event is a certain color on the screen. For example, this button, this continue button right here, that's considered an event, or the text on the screen. And so what we're going to do is we're going to uniquely identify different text on the screen or colors on the screen, and that will tell us what screen it is, and then we'll add actions to those events that will do different things such as click or swipe. I'm not going to automate this screen, but I'm going to go ahead and click continue. This is the AppTestStudio Trainer, and it's going to help you learn how to use the different components of AppTestStudio. When you get done, you should be able to automate almost anything. This trainer is how to click the continue button. We're going to practice automating this continue button. Now, if you notice between this screen and the next screen, the continue button has moved. If you get stuck, you can use these arrow keys to go to the next screen or go back. We'll be using these also. Anyway, if you get stuck, you can always keep going. And the goal is to automate everything. There's a level on every screen that gives you an indicator of what screen we're on. Although most applications don't have a screen indicator, and so we would need to use different colors. And so some of the screens, we're going to start off by trying to do that. Let's get started on our first automation. I'm going to click on the Events node and right-click and say Add an Event. It will automatically take a screenshot of the current window, and I'm going to call this Level 1. No, Level 0. I'm going to give it a nice name. And select unique colors that identify Level 0. Let's go to the app and just click around a little bit. And what we're looking for is something unique on this screen that's not on the other screens, so we can use that as reference. So we have level, we have a little header up here, some text, and a continue button, and the background. The next screen has this orange box, and the continue button's moved, and the background changed. The next screen, there's differences between each of the screens, including this level counter, and that's always there in case you want to use that. So let's get started. I'm going to automate level 0, and this one I'm going to choose this orange, and I'm going to click on this orange, and I'm going to click on the blue. Each time you click, it will record the color at the place that you clicked and the XY position. If you make a mistake, let's say I clicked on the white, and you wanted to change it, you could hit remove, and it will take it off the screen. I'm happy with these colors, and I think they're going to be unique to the screen, so I'm going to hit test. And test is a way of comparing the two screens to see if it's actually working the way you want it to. These are static screens currently, but once we get to some of the screens that have animations on them, we'll need to be a little more careful. You can always hit retest, but retesting on a screen that doesn't change isn't going to do anything. And to show you an example, I'm going to change the level to the next level, level 1, and test it on the level 0, and you can see that there are some differences. So it said, this is the reference window, and these are the colors we recorded. On the actual current window, there's some differences. First of all, the banner is in a different place. Although it's the same banner, it's a little bit shorter, and also the continue button's in a different place as well. So what we found in the test window was this color of red, or an orangey color, and it doesn't match the original color, and it shows you the RGB values. And you can see that the green was 174, and the test window has 130, and it considers that a failure. It also tells you the points between them. So it says 44, the maximum difference between the colors is 44. So what that means is these colors are way off, especially on the bottom color where it says that the colors are 250 points off. And that's because the red that we recorded was 5 and the test window now has white, which is 255. I'm going to hit close, and I'm also going to go back. So right now we've defined level 0. Let's add an action. To add an action, we will right click and add an action. This is asking you, it's in click mode, and this is going to ask you, what do you want to do when this is true? When level 0 is true, we want to click the continue button. So if all of these colors match, we'll click the continue button. Now's the time we can hit run. We were on the design tab, and now we're on the run tab. This is a kind of an indicator of what AppTestStudio is doing, and I'm going to zoom it in a little bit so you can see. The block at the top is the loop delay, and I'll show you where that is set. It's right here. It says 1000, which is 1 second. And you can see that these boxes are 1 second apart. I'm going to bring up the application, and we're on level 1. Let's move the arrow over to go back, and you can see that the click level 0 is automated, and we're back on level 1. So it's checking every second to see if that's true, and if it is, it does 1 click. And so far you can see that we've done 1 on the screen here. We can see that it's done 1 click, and it's done 56 screenshots, and we've been waiting for 58 seconds. AppTestStudio is taking a screenshot at the home location. Then it checks level 0, and if it matches, then it clicks level 0. If it doesn't match, then it skips the click. If you've been following along, congratulations on your first automation. In the next video, we'll cover design, timing, shortcuts, and color variations.